So folks, I'm going to need you to, rein it in a little. Settle down. All of you at the back. Thank you, Brian. Very good. Everybody. All right, folks. Our next presenter, ladies and gentlemen, he is the St. Augustine transplant from Texas. He is an avid therapy patient. He has a PhD in environmental education. He is a junior birder working up to that merit badge, and by God, he will get there, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Kenneth Rainer with Swallow Your Professional Heartbreak with a Jagged Little Pill.
There we go. All right, thank you. I was raised in a household where we scraped by living paycheck to paycheck. Early on, it was made clear that us kids were to find careers where we enjoyed what we did and we could make a living only working 40 hours a week. I'm sharing this story tonight to help me process while also wanting to bring awareness where this very experience mirrors the experiences of thousands. This is my story of how my dream career turned into an abusive professional relationship where it's been a struggle imagining how the show will go on. Since my lesbian grandmother started taking me out on their bass boat and my free-spirited grandpa took me surfing in Galveston, stories for another time, I knew I was connected to the water. And when I was 17, I was introduced to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA. It was then I started looking up to that name like a kid wanting to be an astronaut looks up to NASA. Fast forward years of schooling, certifications, and practical work experience, I got my NOAA dream job. And in May of 2024, I transitioned from a contractor to federal worker. Little did I know by accepting this role, I was putting a target on my back as a probationary employee. But it was perfect, y'all. I had my dream career. I had reached the point that my parents and grandparents wanted so badly for me. The word happy feels so insignificant. Feeling proud feels so insignificant. The only way I felt I convey the level of honor and excitement I felt being part of this organization is reading to you the oath of office all federal civil servants have to take on their first day. I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office in which I'm about to enter, so help me God. Before I get into how this relationship started to evolve, I just want to say this isn't a bitch session. This is the reality of what myself and thousands of others went through. Let me take you back to January when the federal workforce purge began, a deliberate strategy to erase our civic institutions. First, the verbal and psychological abuse. I started hearing rhetoric from our country's leaders that me and my colleagues were wasteful, fraudulent, abusive, destroying our country, crooked, dishonest, lazy, useless, pathetic. And then sprinkle on top of that the emotional abuse with the barrage of emails, the executive orders getting rid of DEI and gender ideology, and the Doge email started with the first fork in the road, a blatant, sketchy-ass attempt to bully us into quitting. And I feel like I need to make a disclaimer here. NOAA, your environmental investigation agency, the things that we work on, hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires, flooding, tsunamis, these things can give two shits if you're a he, him, his, black, brown, white, gay, trans, poor, rich, immigrant, ask the next hurricane how much they have appreciated these efficiencies. All right, back to the story. Where was I? Abuse. On February 27 at 3:51 p.m., without warning, 650 probationary federal workers like myself were terminated in a template email saying that we were no longer a match for NOAA, completely ignoring our performance reviews, what our supervisors had to say, and the law. So what happens when 650 NOAA probationary employees get terminated? Well, we band the fuck together. We have trauma bonded the shit out of this experience, and we had to because there's no direction or guidance on unemployment, healthcare, termination paperwork, leave payouts, appeal processes, nothing. We were purged. I'm going to try to keep the abject cruelty and the dash of financial abuse brief, and if it sounds crazy and confusing, that's because it's fucking insane. So we were fired, then rehired due to a temporary restraining order, then refired when the district courts decided to lift the order. We found out that we were actually refired back to the original date. During the time of being rehired, the Department of Commerce never reinstated our health insurance, so it expired while we were actually still working there, even though they continued to take out our premiums. I have no idea where the fuck that money went. Also, I just want to highlight the efficiencies and cost savings to you, the taxpayer. Instead of putting our taxpayer dollars to work, they put us on paid admin leave. So we were not allowed to communicate with staff, check emails, conduct any type of work that would serve the American citizens. Now multiply us, the 650 NOAA terminated probationary employees, by thousands, and that's what's happening to your federal workforce. I lost my dream job. It has been replaced with this bullshit. I was asked by a journalist whether I want my job back. I don't know. I loved what I did, but before I would go back, I want NOAA restored to the unbiased, peer-reviewed, science-based institution that I became enamored with in my youth. One that isn't driven to harvest for profit, but one that is geared to protecting life and this planet. So yeah, takeaways from this experience. The first is that I've been #blessed with something called high-functioning depression. It's something I'll definitely need to deal with in therapy, but it's helped me be present during this experience. It's actually helped me, push me to starting my own consulting business. The second, and I know this sounds cliche, I'm not alone in this. I've had some incredible fucking people in my life, even life adjacent. It sounds weird, but the journalists and lawyers dedicating their work to support us, the people I stand next to on Saturdays at the fort during the protest, including the grandmothers from New Jersey, who I stand behind because ain't nobody fucking with them. And the friends and colleagues I've worked with, the NOAA folks I've met through signal chats, the former supervisor that has had my back throughout this, and very importantly, my incredible friends and amazing loving partners. I love you so much. And to finish, I've learned it is so important to stand up and be heard. So I want to be heard by setting the record straight on at least one thing. The phrases our leaders meant to say about the federal workers are that we are honest, authentic, kind, caring, patriotic, sincere, hardworking, helpful, effective, admirable, and impressive. Thank you.